Good morning, welcome to Morning Expresso. I'm Charulata Biswas. Let's begin with the big story of the day. The wholesale price index or WPI-based inflation surged to 14.55% in March 2022 after a 13.11% reading in February 2022. The annual WPI inflation has remained in the double digits in every month of 2021-22 and has almost consistently edged upwards. But what's a more worrying prospect for policymakers is that the Consumer Price Index or CPI-based annual inflation converging towards the WPI-based inflation. This is in deviation from the usual trend of wholesale price inflation, which is collapsing in the direction of the retail price rise. Here are the stories you'll find only in Indian Express. The 5,000 odd inhabitants of Delt, an island of Sri Lanka's Jaffna Peninsula, are unaware of the intense geopolitical jostling between New Delhi and Beijing for a renewable energy project. What they do know is that they have to deal with Indian fishermen from Tamil Nadu who sail into the waters around Jaffna 3 days a week, destroy fishing nets of the local people. For nearly 2 decades, India and Sri Lanka have been engaged on the fishermen's issue. But is there a solution in sight? Check out Nirupama Subramanian's report in today's edition of the Indian Express. From Gujarat to Bengal to New Delhi, who runs the state cricket associations in India? Many cases depends on who your father is. Over a third of the 38 full members of the BCCI today include at the top sons or relatives of former officials and of powerful politicians, the highest ever in the board's history. We show you a list of cricket administrators who fit the description. Read our article for more. Let's have a look at the front page. A week after communal clashes broke out in Madhya Pradesh's Khargone during a Ram Navami procession, a 28-year-old man who went missing soon after became the first casualty of the clashes. Ibrahim Khan is survived by his wife and an 8-month-old child. His son had just learned to call him Abu and his wife kept hoping against all odds that her husband would come back hale and hearty, Ibrahim's eldest brother said. A 2-day mega event being organized at the Red Fort to mark the 400th birth anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Sikh Guru, will culminate with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address to the nation on April 21st. The Prime Minister is likely to focus in his speech on relaying a message of interfaith peace, said sources to the Indian Express. And the Supreme Court on Monday set aside the Allahabad High Court order granting bail to the Lakhimpur Kheri case accused Ashish Mishra, son of Union Minister Ajay Mishra. A bench of Chief Justice N.V. Ramana, Justice Surya Kant and Justice Hema Kohli asked him to surrender within a week. Here are the must-reads. With provisions for setting up cow sanctuaries and mega cow shelters, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is set to unveil a plan to tackle Uttar Pradesh's stray cattle menace. Also on the government agenda will be establishing biogas plants and utilizing cow dung to eventually make CNG. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had promised farmers that selling cow dung would be so lucrative that people would go out of their way to adopt stray cattle. Gadchiroli, a tribal-dominated district in Maharashtra, has set a national example in the fight against malnutrition. Last October, the district introduced a special diet program for malnourished children between the ages of 6 months and 6 years. And since then, 3,794 malnourished children of the 7,111 listed have recovered in the district. The district CEO, in consultation with nutritionists, had come up with these 8 nutrient-dense Maharashtrian recipes to help the children in their recovery. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and WHO Chief Tedros will perform the groundbreaking ceremony of the Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar today. We explain what is it about and what are WHO's objectives in our Explained. And in today's Delhi Confidential, after delivering a detailed presentation on how to revive the Congress poll strategist Prashant Kishore was back at 10 Janpath on Monday for the second time in 3 days. Several senior Congress leaders, including P. Chidambaram, Randeep Surjewala, Jairam Ramesh, Mukul Vasnik and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra also had a meeting with Sonia Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi, meanwhile, was not present as he is said to be abroad on a short visit. And finally, in this episode of Three Things podcast, we discuss the rise in COVID-19 cases in the country, the first casualty of the Khargone violence, and the latest update on the Pulwama attack. That's a wrap for me today. For the latest updates, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Indian Express. Thank you so much for watching.